Welcome to the Celebrity Fitness Showdown. In this series, two celebrities go head to head on their training, diet, physique, Natty score, and X Factor, and then we tally up those scores to decide who is the Celebrity Fitness Champion. And for this episode, it's Ben Affleck versus Christian Bale. Of course, this is going to be a Batman versus Batman showdown. Sorry to those of you who are hoping to see Dick Cheney go head to head against Daredevil. Maybe next time. For each category, we'll be scoring Ben and Bale in the context of how well their plan prepared them for their respective roles. So this isn't just who ate the cleanest and got the most shredded. We want to see who did the best job physically transforming themselves into Batman and Bruce Wayne. This is the first episode of Celebrity Fitness Showdown, so if you like the idea and want me to do Tom Holland versus Tobey Maguire next, hit the like button and comment wall crawler down below. For the first category, we'll be doing diet, so we'll be seeing which variant of Alfred did a better job in the kitchen. So as many of you probably know, Christian Bale's transformation for Batman was one of the most insane Hollywood transformations of all time. Bale was coming off starring in The Mechanist, where he lost more than 60 pounds to play a malnourished insomniac. So to make sure he didn't look like Bane's toothpick, he went through an insane bulk where he went full bear mode, eating pretty much anything he could get his hands on. Pizza, burgers, ice cream, etc. And by the end of it, he had gained 100 pounds. Going all the way from 120 to a huge 220 in only 6 months. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not 100 pounds of muscle. Bale got thick. When Christopher Nolan, the director of Bale's Batman trilogy, first laid eyes onto him, he said something along the lines of, "Jesus Christ, bro, what the fuck happened to you?"
Really seals in the flavor.
Oh, dude, Jesus.
Bale had not only put on all that weight, but he'd also grown out his beard and his hair, so he was looking a little rough. This isn't exactly the Bruce Wayne look. So Nolan had some pretty simple instructions for Bale. Buddy, get a haircut, drop the beard, take a shower, lose 20 pounds, then we're golden. So Bale cleaned up his diet and ate meals with a ratio of 1 part healthy fats, 2 parts lean protein, and 3 parts carbohydrates, and you would have these meals every 2 to 3 hours. Bale definitely did some irreparable damage to his body, gaining 100 pounds in just 6 months, but given the situation, it's exactly what he needed to do to bring his physique back to life, so he's definitely winning some points for doing what needed to be done. But once he had gained the weight back, he dialed his diet in and was able to cut down in time for filming. So because of all this, Bale is netting himself 8.5 points in the diet category. Now we're moving on to Ben. For his role as Batman, Ben Affleck also underwent a bulk, but as he was already in pretty good shape from past roles like The Town, he didn't need to gain nearly as much weight as Bale did. He gained about 30 pounds, going from 198 to 231. Then he underwent a body recomp, where he dropped about 5 pounds of fat while continuing to build a small amount of muscle. Now Ben had 15 months to prepare his body for the original role in Batman vs Superman, so this process didn't happen overnight. He worked with LA-based nutritionist Rehan Jahali to make sure that his body was being fueled properly and was getting everything that it needed to take on the goons of Gotham. After the initial bulk, she had Ben cut out all dairy, limit his sodium intake, and eat about 6 times per day. They sourced carbs from foods such as oatmeal, had a lot of leafy greens and whole grains, while also consuming plenty of lean protein in the form of salmon, eggs, turkey, that kind of stuff. So Ben's diet plan was pretty much a less extreme versions of Bale, and I gotta respect the fact that Bale is out here risking life and limb to entertain us. So Ben is ending the first round down 0.5 point to Bale with 8 points. Training is our second category, so we'll be seeing who trained smarter and hit the bat gym harder.
I also have huge pecs and a 9-pack. Yeah, I've got an extra ab.
This time we're starting with Ben. During his short career as the Dark Knight, Ben trained under 2 different high-end trainers. During his first Batman prep for Batman vs Superman, he trained with Walter Norton Jr. And then for Justice League, Magnus Lujbak took over as his coach. For the 15 months leading up to Batman vs Superman, Ben and his first trainer, Walter, trained anywhere from 90 minutes to 2.5 hours a day, typically training 6 days in a row and then taking 2 days off in a row to rest. And they focused on the basics. Heavy compound movements like dumbbell bench press, back squats, and trap bar deadlifts, and then some awesome accessory movements like heavy farmer's carries and sled pushes. They wanted him to look like a thick MMA heavyweight puncher, but they also needed him to be strong and agile, as the bat suit he was wearing in the movie weighed more than 75 pounds. So to keep his conditioning up, they also included strength and conditioning circuits at the end of most of Ben's workouts, with things like aerodyne bike sprints and functional strength movements. For his Justice League prep, his training looked pretty similar. His second trainer Magnus built off of Ben's progress for the first Batman and had him focus on similar compound movements, accessory movements, and functional strength training. Ben's training for his role as Batman was top notch. Everything in the program had a reason to be there. There was no wasted volume or random fluff that you see in a lot of celebrity fitness routines. 4-hour ab workouts.
Oh, wow!
Ben trained just like Batman would train in real life, so he is getting a easy 10 out of 10, perfect score.
Do you bleed?
Now let's see how Bale was hitting the gym. So during his big bulk, Bale was hitting the weights hard, focusing on heavy compound movements so he could turn as much of that pizza into muscle as possible. But he was definitely neglecting the cardio. In an interview at the time, he said that he felt insanely strong, but if you asked him to run across the room, things might get a little dicey.
Hey, Paul!
So after Nolan told him he'd have to drop those 20 pounds, Bale really switched up his training. Each day, his program was a mix of weight training, bodyweight movements, and then a run. For his weight training, he went with a classic bodybuilding split, hitting a different body part each day, and staying in the classic bodybuilding set and rep range of 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps for each exercise. He would also use a lot of drop sets to help push past failure and get in extra volume. Bale's Batman training was definitely less sophisticated than Ben's, and while it's definitely not a bad routine, the scoring system we use here on Celebrity Fitness Showdown is relative, and Bale's training just doesn't hold a candle to Ben's, so Bale is ending the round with 7 points. So after 2 rounds, Ben is in the lead with 18 points to Bale's 15.5. It's a close race, but we still have 3 rounds to go. For round 3, we're going to see who built a better physique for the role as Batman. Now we're starting with Bale. Even after becoming a husk of a man for the Machinist, Bale managed to bring the perfect Batman physique to his Batman trilogy. Bale's physique looks powerful, functional, athletic, intimidating, and realistic. He said in interviews that he didn't want to be as lean as he was for roles like American Psycho, because that would really hamper his ability to move like an athlete and perform how he wanted to in the movie. And I'm really happy he went this direction. A real-life Bruce Wayne would be eating and training for performance and not aesthetics. So it wouldn't make sense for him to be super shredded and looking like a bodybuilder. So Bale is getting a perfect 10 out of 10 score for his Batman physique. Now Ben's Batman is older, rougher, and more massive than any other Batman that we've seen. He's playing a Batman that's been training and fighting crime for over 20 years, so naturally at that point he'd be a hulking mass of muscle. I think Ben looks perfect in the suit, giant, intimidating, and powerful. But without the suit, it's a slightly different story. It seems like they're really focused on Ben looking lean and aesthetic and having abs for his shirtless scenes, rather than having him look like the unstoppable force that we see in the comic The Dark Knight Returns, which is a big part of the source material for Batman vs Superman. I would have rather seen them sacrifice the abs for more overall mass, as I believe this look would have been much more cohesive with how Ben looks in the suit. With how his physique ended up, you can tell that there was a lot of padding in his bat suit. Now don't get me wrong, Ben looked amazing, but the physique score is how well their physiques fit the role. So with all that in mind, Ben is getting a 7 out of 10 for his physique. So at the end of our 3rd round, Bale is now in the lead with 25.5 points to Ben's 25. It's neck and neck, so now it's up to the Natty number and X Factor rounds to decide who's our winner.
What gives you the right? What's the difference between you and me?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
So our 4th round is the Natty number. The higher the score, the more likely that I think the celebrity is natural, aka not using performance enhancing drugs. And we're starting with Bale. So Bale's final physique looks great, but it's nothing that you couldn't achieve naturally. But the thing that is a little suspect about it is how quickly he gained back his size after the Mechanist. Muscle memory is a real thing, and if you want to learn all about that, go watch my full video on Bale's training after you find out the winner of this video. But even with muscle memory, I still think there's a non-zero chance that Bale used a little bit of something besides pizza and milkshakes to help him bulk back up. So because there is a little bit of a cloud of doubt, he's getting a Natty score of 3 out of a possible 5 points. Now on to Ben. Ben had been training for years before his time as the Cape Crusader came around, and he had a full 15 months to prep for his first appearance as Batman. All that, along with the fact that he looked great, but definitely didn't look like a Mr. Olympia competitor, makes me believe that he was 100% natural for his time as Batman. So Ben is getting a perfect 5 out of 5 Natty score. So now it's all down to our 5th and final category, the X Factor. The X Factor is something that was cool, impressive, or unique about the celebrities training for their role. So Ben's X Factor is that he had the greatest workout scene in superhero movie history. My fitness nerd status is really about to show, but I couldn't help but smile when I first saw Ben in Batman vs Superman crushing heavy back squats, pressing huge dumbbells, pushing a giant sled, and doing 100-pound weighted pull-ups. This is the most realistic gym routine I've ever seen in a superhero movie, and Ben's trainer at the time said that those were a lot of the movements that they actually had included in his training plan. I love it. So Ben is getting 2 out of 5 possible X Factor points for that one small scene alone. Okay, this is it, on to Bale. So I think we all saw this coming. Bale pulled off the most impressive Hollywood body transformation of all time, going from the Mechanist to Batman Begins. Giving him anything less than a perfect score would be insanely disrespectful to all the hard work and dedication Christian Bale brings to all of his roles. So he is getting an easy 5 out of 5 X Factor score. So with the Natty score and X Factor squared away, let's see who's the winner of the first ever Celebrity Fitness Showdown. After 5 rounds, Ben Affleck's final score comes to 32, and Bale's comes out to 33.5, making Christian Bale the first ever celebrity fitness champion. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the first video of Celebrity Fitness Showdown, make sure to leave a like, comment, and share this video. Now go check out my full video on our winner, Christian Bale, and I'll see you there.